In this video, I'll be teaching you 3 impossible yo-yo tricks. Well, they aren't actually impossible if you're using a 9 Dragons yo-yo. These tricks wouldn't be possible with any other yo-yo, but the 9 Dragons free spinning outer shells are what make the magic happen. If you don't already have a 9 Dragons yo-yo, you can pick one up on my website, gentrystein.com. This one I'm using is the Galaxy Glow in the Dark colorway. I also have a full video teaching you the basics of how to use the 9 Dragons yo-yo, as well as a few super easy beginner tricks. I'll link that one down in the description so you can check it out. The 3 tricks in this video will get harder as we go, but they're all at a beginner to intermediate level, so as long as you have some modern yo-yo experience, you should be able to learn them all. Let's jump into trick number 1, the rolling dragon. This one starts with a regular front style throw, and we're gonna push our opposite pointer finger straight into the string as soon as we throw it. Then we're gonna bring our throw hand down below the yo-yo, lining up the string with the gap of the yo-yo and catching it. So now that yo-yo is spinning freely in our hand and we're ready to start the roll. So we're gonna bring that top hand forward, and now with the throw hand, we wanna pretend like we're throwing the yo-yo forward, and that's actually gonna launch the yo-yo onto the string. Now from here, we bring that throw hand down, launch the yo-yo forward like in a boomerang just once, and as the yo-yo's coming back, we're gonna catch the yo-yo in our hand once again and just repeat the process. So bring that top hand down, push the yo-yo forward, or pretend to throw it, it'll launch forward, and now we can do a boomerang, catch again one more time, top hand down, launch forward, and after that third roll, you'll find yourself in this position. You can just lower that throw hand down and go into a bind to catch. Super quick tip for this one. Every time you go to catch the yo-yo, you wanna make sure to line the string up with the gap of the yo-yo. That way, as you go to catch, it actually catches on the string first. That way, as you go to roll off this way, after bringing that top hand down, the yo-yo is already on the string. What happens if you don't line the yo-yo up and you just catch it in your hand with the string not in the gap? As you go to throw it, it's not gonna be on the string, it won't create the roll, and you can't continue the trick. Also, make sure to exaggerate those 2 main movements. First, the throw, then when you shoot it out. The farther you shoot it out and the more you swing it out to throw, the better the trick's gonna look. You'll notice if you just barely kind of go like this, it doesn't have the same effect. It looks way cooler when you really throw it out there, launch it forward, throw it out there. It creates a much cooler rolling effect. Woo, that's right, baby. Trick number 1 is down, and now it's time to take your 9 Dragons horizontal. Trick number 2 is the Dragon's Flight. With a normal yo-yo, horizontal tricks are some of the most difficult to master because at any moment, if you lose control, the yo-yo will spin out and ruin the trick. The free spinning outer shells of the 9 Dragons though actually prevent this from happening. So even though the yo-yo is horizontal, as you're practicing, it's still pretty easy. This one starts with a regular side throw into a trapeze, and we're gonna put that trapeze loop onto our throw hand pointer finger. Now from here, we just wanna grab the back of the yo-yo lightly so the yo-yo starts spinning in our fingers, and we're gonna change the plane of the yo-yo to horizontal by just moving it straight up like this. Now the yo-yo is still spinning, and we're gonna start the spin of the yo-yo, or the flight of the dragon, by swinging the yo-yo around toward ourselves to our throw hand side. So we're gonna do 3 full rotations, 1, 2, 3. As I'm doing those rotations, I'm controlling the yo-yo by moving that throw hand pointer finger in a small circle. Now during the trick, we're not actually going to stop the yo-yo like this, but at that point where you do 3 full rotations, we wanna curl our throw hand pointer finger just like this, and right at that moment, you wanna turn it down. That way you can continue swinging 3 more rotations, 1, 2, 3, and from here, we're just gonna catch the yo-yo once again, flip it over completely. Now just pull that throw hand back towards you and whip into the gap of the yo-yo for the bind. The hardest part of the trick is definitely that transition in the middle. So we can actually practice it by, instead of grabbing the yo-yo on the backside, reach around to the front and move the yo-yo up from here. Now we don't actually have to let go of the yo-yo as we mimic that movement. So 1, 2, 3 rotations, and that moment where the yo-yo is passing by that throw hand pointer finger, right there is when we're gonna curl, because as the yo-yo continues moving, that's when we have to flip the hand upside down, then point the finger down by uncurling, lift the elbow up, and continue. Now we'll have to grab the yo-yo from the bottom from here. Continue moving the yo-yo around in the same direction. You don't want to change direction, you just want to change where you're pointing your hand. And as you go around for the final rotation, you should end up in just a basic trapeze, which will allow us to then flip the yo-yo over, pull the string out, and then go into your bind. All right, you know what time it is. Trick number 3, the Serpent Circle. If this one looks a little intimidating, don't worry, it's just a little longer, it's got more steps, but it's still not too hard. Let's do this. The Serpent Circle also starts with a trapeze, and now we're gonna pop the yo-yo up into our opposite hand and catch it. From here, make sure your pointer finger on your throw hand is wrapped around so the string is dangling over the top of it, like this. Now what we're gonna do is whip that string over the yo-yo and make sure that the string that's attached to your middle finger touches the gap of the yo-yo just like this. Now as we throw the yo-yo over, it will catch onto the gap, and we're gonna swing the yo-yo into a mini trapeze over both strings onto this double set of strings right here, just like this. Now from here, we're gonna swing the yo-yo off, cross the opposite hand over, and now as the yo-yo is swinging, we're gonna catch the yo-yo right here. From here, all we do is switch our hand placement just like this, and now from here, let go of the yo-yo, but keep your opposite hand right here the whole time, and swing the yo-yo in a full circle all the way around and catch it back in your hand. From this position, all we're gonna do is switch the hands around again, and when the opposite hand that's holding the yo-yo reaches the top, just let go of this loop with your pointer finger, pop the yo-yo up, and pull down to bind. Make sure you guys have good string tension for this trick, because as you go to swing this string over in the first step, you have to control which string goes in line with the gap of the yo-yo. Make sure it's that back string that's connected to your middle finger, because that's what's gonna allow the trick later on to be on the correct string, so when you get to this part, the strings are twisted correctly so you can actually bind. If you do this part onto the front string, you'll see that as you go through the whole trick, it seems like it's still the same, but now, once you get to that last step, the strings aren't twisted, so if you go to bind, it's never gonna work. And one last tip to make this trick look extra good, as you're getting through the trick and you land in this part right here, make sure to keep the string tight. You don't wanna let there be slack as you're turning it around. It's gonna look really sloppy, so keep that string tight as you do a perfect circle. Now from here, this is the most important part. Make sure to keep this opposite hand completely isolated as you let go of the yo-yo and wait for the yo-yo to swing around. That's gonna make it look night and day different, and you guys will have this trick down in no time. That's 3 tricks with the 9 dragons. Let me know how you guys did, and as always, if you have any questions, drop them down in the comments and I'll help you out. Peace.